Well, a warm welcome also from my side. Hey, everything seems to be working. Wonderful. Technology is great today. Um, Ruben, you also want to say hi?
Yeah, of course. Big time. Excited for today, and it really is a team effort. So although Benny and Ruben is mentioned here, TeamRGE is all around the teamwork. You will see through the day that like many community friends spend weekends and evenings prepping content, and they are happy to share the content. And yeah, excited to host this event as a larger team. And yeah, looking forward to 7 hours of goodness.
All right, let me kick it off. So, what have we got here? Well, TeamRGE, as Ruben mentioned, and this is the event. Instead of doing a live event, well, we're doing this virtual event. Last year, we did both. We had both a live event, so we met in the Netherlands and a bunch of us, and we had a good time there. This year, everybody is working from home, and so this is what it is this time. This is the group, as Ruben mentioned. It's not only one individual, it's a growing number of people. So I don't want to introduce all of them because most of them, they will be speakers. We had a couple of conversations in the background going on because here you see Rick Dellinger. He is from Citrix. This year, Citrix does not present, and we had a good communication with some of the guys at Citrix. They are going through some transitions, and so some of the communication got sort of lost in this transition. But we are working on it so that they are coming back next time. They will definitely be part of that. And just for you to know, and there will be many sessions where Citrix will be mentioned. So don't worry, we are not, don't have any problems with Citrix, not at all. The other thing is that we have a couple of new TeamRGE members, Esther Bartel, Joe Da Silva, and Johan van Amersfoort. They already joined, so they are already part of the group. We will add them to the list, to the website anytime soon. And we are in the phase of, we have invited Dennis Gundarev from Microsoft and Eltio van Gollet from the Netherlands. So also to be members of TeamRGE. So it's real community power.
Exactly.
Now there is one thing.
And, exactly.
That really worries me.
Yep. The Dutch slowly take over remote graphics.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Exactly,
but not only remote graphics. The scary thing is they also dominate the CTP group. They also dominate the vExpert group, and they dominate the MVP group.
Yep.
I don't know what's going on.
Stroopwafels, that's the only thing. Yep,
so that's the secret. Okay,
yep,
that's what I thought. Okay, thank you.
That's it.
We need to find some Germans and to find more people from the Nordics, and I'm happy that Joe is now part of it. He's from Canada, so this is good news.
Yeah, good stuff.
Good.
I also believe that, like what you mentioned, is that this is really like a team effort. And if you want to be part of this team and you already contribute in the realm of GPUs, remote graphics, remoting protocols, benchmarking, user experience, please feel free to reach out to the TeamRGE members, including Benny and myself, and we can have just an open, frank conversation to see what it takes to be part of the team. We're not reaching out. We are not reaching out proactively. I would say most of the times. But if you believe and if you think it's great to join this team, feel free to do so, and happy to have a conversation about that.
Absolutely. This is just the logos of all these community groups that contribute to TeamRGE, or were TeamRGE members are also members of these community groups, and I think it's an amazing list of logos. So
yeah, exactly.
Whenever I go through it, it's really amazing. So let's talk about last year. What happened since our last TeamRGE event? And Ruben,
there's
let
some
me
delay.
control it,
Yeah.
please. So this is the list that Ruben and I came up with when we discussed, yeah, what are we going to put in the opening keynote? And I mean, these are the most spectacular things that happened over the last year. WVD, then AMD releases their new CPU and GPU combo. And then Microsoft introduced their new Envy series based on the AMD CPU and GPU combo. Then we see advances in all of the remoting protocols across the board, which is amazing. More and more, they start using the GPU power that they find out there. Then we see a lot of transformations regarding control planes in the cloud. So Citrix Cloud, Horizon Cloud, Frame is one of those, and Ruben, he knows most about that, and we're going to hear a session later today. Then CloudJumper was acquired by NetApp. This was a big surprise for me that a storage vendor enters the EUC market, but it makes a lot of sense when you look at all the cloud transformation in the line above. And we see NVIDIA Tesla T4s in non-Microsoft clouds, AWS and Google Cloud. And this is also interesting. And I think that Ruben is going to cover some of that in the next session.
Yep,
so
sure.
These are the things that we believe were the most spectacular things that happened over the last 12 months.
Also, if you feel free to add comments and use the chat function, as Gabe mentioned, to share what you think happened in 2019 and we missed in this slide, or the other way around, and we'll talk about that in the closing keynote, what you think will happen or needs to happen in this year and beyond. Also good, good info and good topics to talk about.
Let me quickly browse through the agenda, and we created 3 session blocks, and you see here the first block is our opening keynote. Then Ruben will do his session. Then I'm going to do a session together with Rodi Kosen. Then we have a break, a 10-minute break, and then there's the next 3 session section. And you see here, this is how we do it for the next 7 hours. 3 sessions, 10-minute break, and then again 3 sessions. And all the sessions are 20 minutes. It's a little bit like speed dating or TED Talks. So we took the TED Talks as a reference. They are 18 minutes, and we thought this is a great format because you have to focus and cannot just talk about too many things in your session. You really have to focus on 1 or 2 topics, and this is it. So it's a great lineup of speakers. I'm really happy about that. We'll see if everybody shows up and what it's going to be like. Good. And this is the transition over to Ruben because he has to share some new stuff, and it's exciting stuff.
Let me get control of keyboard. Should be good. Yeah, I want to share the state of the end user computing survey results. Many of you contributed to this community as well in the past days, weeks, and months. And like the State of the Union or State of the EUC Union is really a team effort in the VDI Like Pro community. And VDI Like Pro is a community we are running with Mark and Christian and myself for past years. Long time ago, probably 7 years ago, together with Jeroen. We started Project VRC, and Sven was involved. Many others were involved. Ryan was involved, and over time we used Project Virtual Reality Check to launch a survey, and the survey is what you see right now. So we have also historic data we can use, and I just picked up a couple of questions which are relevant for this TeamRGE event. The white paper, the VDI Like a Pro white paper, is not released yet. The expectation is next Monday, so in a couple of days from now, the white paper will be available. But it's great to already share some of the results. You see that almost 700 of different people across the world contributed, supported the community. So pretty large number. The majority is US, 23%. So the largest response distribution is US. You can also see Netherlands pretty big here. Mostly, and I would say mostly because we, like as Dutch, we are really active in the EUC space, which has a huge impact in the sort of attendance and respondents on the in the community side of this this VDI Like a Pro survey. So one of the question is, okay, what is the percentage of applications in your complete environment, and what is the percentage of native Windows applications specifically? And you can see if I combine like the two ones, 64% of the total respondent will use Windows apps as like 80% plus are using Windows apps of their complete application landscape. So there's a running joke, as many of us know, like it will take a long time before Windows apps are dead. Yeah, you can see that here in the survey as well. Many people see Windows apps as a key platform to run business applications, and that's what you see here. This is an interesting one as well, like which GPU do you use for virtual applications and desktops, or virtual desktops and applications, and specifically on-prem? And I would say we know that the biggest competitor, or the biggest competitor to GPU is not Intel versus AMD versus NVIDIA, but is the CPU. And many organizations think that the CPU can handle graphic intensive applications and therefore don't use GPUs. And so the no GPU option here, 35% is quite big, but actually is declining, as you can see here. So if you combine all the GPU like solutions from NVIDIA, you see that more organizations are using NVIDIA GPUs than they are not using NVIDIA GPUs. Of course, the second question, and that's a question we will ask next year in the survey, is what the actual usage of GPUs in virtual desktops and apps deployment will be, because that's a fair question. You don't see the response here because we didn't ask that question. That's the next year question for sure. Another one is, where are your workload machines hosted? We talk about public cloud, we talk about hybrid, we talk about on-prem. You can see that the majority of the respondents, 695, are using fully on-prem, the workload machines, the VMs to run apps and desktops in a single user or multi-user approach. Use both, also pretty big, and public cloud only is smaller right now, and we'll see how that will grow over time. And endpoint devices will have and do have impact in user experience. Although all the logic and all the horsepower is in the data center or is in the cloud, we know that the endpoint will have impact in decoding, will have impact in different remoting protocols, things like that. So it's good to know what kind of endpoint devices what kind of endpoint devices are being used. So in 2017, the laptop was a primary use case with almost 30%. In 2018, this number was down to 15%. 2019, close to 25%. In 2020, is 27%, as you can see here. And Linux thin client usage declined from 19% in 2018 to 10% in 2019, and increased, as you can see here, to 22% in 2020. And zero clients, like PC over IP or thin OS-based zero clients, are declining heavily from 8% in 2019 to 7% in 2020. So it's a small percentage of the thin client market. Also browser-based, so no client, is increasing from 2% in 2019 to 8% in 2020. So interesting to see what different devices and access methods are being used for virtual apps and desktops. Display configuration, we know that resolution and display configuration and display layout can have impact in user experience. So great question to ask is, what is the common display configuration? And if you combine all dual display configuration, 61% this year are using dual display configuration, which is an increase of close to 4% compared to 2019. And dual display configurations, as you can see here, in full HD mode is being used the most. So why are you interested in desktop as a service? So this is like a more cloud related question. So cloud first strategy, you can see here as 70% of the respondent see that as the major reason for desktop as a service. And in 2019, this was 3.9%. So it's it's a huge increase, and you will see in the white paper also more data around that. And then second one is flexibility, as is an important one as well, and especially these days, sort of unfortunately, where flexibility, seasonality, and on demand is is a huge request for that. Let's see, the slide advance didn't work. That's the one I had in mind. Yep. So cloud strategy, hybrid cloud, 65% multi-cloud providers in public cloud, 7%, and single public cloud, 35%. So hybrid is, I would say, 60%, single public cloud close to 40%. And that's what you see here. So again, 695 total people supported this community, so pretty large number, and hybrid is the majority, the key focus for most of us. When we talk about application execution, when we talk about virtual apps and desktops, when we talk about VDI, when we talk about desktop as a service, we know that the best application and user experience is when apps and data are close to each other. So one of the new questions we asked this year is, where is the data stored in a desktop as a service scenario? So hybrid, 40%, all data in public cloud, 15%, all data on-prem, 25 or close to 25%, and hybrid for long term, 17%. And of course, I would say many of our customers, including ourselves, will use or are using hybrid. If you just look at OneDrive or Dropbox, when we share these videos or when we share these presentations, we also use like public cloud storage as well. So I'm pretty sure that I would say hybrid and also cloud storage, like we just discussed with like OneDrive, is top of mind for many, maybe all of us or close to all of us. And finally, the question, which GPUs to use in public cloud? No GPU, 44%, and different vendors, like for instance, AWS have different GPU options, G2, G3, G4. I will talk about them a little bit later. Interesting to see that the NV6, I see it as well, like that's the cloud workhorse in Azure, and even NV4, so the AMD CPU/AMD GPU-based machine, there's quite some sort of interest or usage in that one. And from my perspective, I would say from a Nutanix perspective, but I see a lot of request feedback for this AMD GPU-based machine. People are looking for other like cheaper solutions or better price performance ratio solutions, and it's great to see that AMD is entering this space. And again, as mentioned, survey is available June 15th. Go to vdilikeapro.com, and it would be great to get feedback, and great for listening. Thanks for listening to this first presentation, first session.
I didn't want to cut you off, but yeah.
20 minutes, 20 seconds.
minutes.
Exactly.